Introducing Expense Module by Pocket HRMS. The expense management feature of Pocket HRMS is an enhanced module that automates multiple expense-related functions like expense submissions, approvals, reimbursement, report generation, and more. With its in-depth transparent features, our expense module replaces manual paperwork and calculations with a smooth workflow to upload, track, and submit employee expenses conveniently. So, let us understand this advanced module better. Let us start by setting up the expense module as per the company's requirements. First, we will observe the setting process by using the admin interface. Once we log into the admin cloud portal, we need to click on the ESS portal settings menu at the left side of the screen and select the expense tab. Inside, we will get multiple options where we need to select the first sub-tab expense type to add our expense type. To add a new expense type, we can click on the plus icon at the right side of the page, select the business unit, enter our expense type, select the approval rights requirement, add the location requirement, and save it. Moving on, we can set our expense eligibility options by clicking on the Expense Eligibility sub-tab. We can add the expense eligibility details by clicking the plus icon in the right upper corner. We need to select the business unit and expense type and enter the maximum amount allowed. Next, we can also enter the amount for which no manager approval is required. In the last text box, we can select the approval type, which can be either claim-wise or monthly. If we select claim-wise, the maximum amount entered will be set as the applicable limit for a single claim. If we set monthly, the same maximum amount entered will be set as the applicable limit for a specific month. Let's choose claim-wise for this video and save it. Next, we will enter the Auto Document Number Settings sub-tab. Here, we can add the company name in the first text box, then, add the trailing number and starting number as either 0 or 1 as per our choice and click on the Save button to save the details. When an employee claims their expense, the transaction number will be created by default using the format that we have set here, as displayed below the setting. Next, we move to the Expense Mode sub-tab to configure the expense mode. Here, we can click on the plus icon to add the expense mode by choosing the expense type and mode and adding the mode by saving it. Multiple expense modes can be configured here. Now, we shall configure the expense purpose. Here, we are adding an expense purpose by clicking on the plus icon, entering the purpose details in the text box and clicking on the Save button to save it. We can create multiple expense purposes by clicking on the plus icon. Now, we move on to the last option, Expense Lock. From this page, we can set the employee's claims to be locked after a specified date. We can lock any date by clicking on the calendar icon corresponding to the expense. Here we are locking the telephone expense claiming date by choosing 25th of September 2023, from the calendar. We can lock multiple claiming dates in this manner. Switching to the Employee ESS portal, we need to click on the Expense menu, then select the Request option, and choose the Claim Entry tab. Click on the Add button on the right side of the screen to open the Expense Details page. Choose the expense date by clicking on the calendar icon. Then, click on the plus icon directly below the calendar icon to open the Expense Details pop-up. In this form, we need to fill out the expense type, expense amount which should be within the eligible amount. Let us quickly recheck the cloud portal whether the amount is eligible or not. Since the amount of 1,000 rupees is within the eligible limit of rupees 1,500, we can submit it. However, when we add rupees 1,510, which goes beyond the eligibility criteria, we are unable to save it, as the system notifies us that the claim eligibility limit is exceeded for this month. Now let us understand the claim-wise expense. For this, we need to add an expense by clicking on the plus icon, where we need to select the monthly expense type which we can search from the cloud portal, select the expense amount, start date, end date, remarks, mode, and the purpose. Then, we click on the Add button to add it. We can add multiple expenses in a single claim, as we are adding here. However, in case the amount goes beyond the monthly expense level, we cannot submit the expense. Instead, we will get the error notification that the claim eligibility amount exceeded at the right upper corner. Once all the expenses are entered, we can observe that the transaction number is automatically created. We can write any remarks and click on the Submit button to submit our expense claim request. Let us check the manager's ESS portal to observe how the manager can approve the expense request we submitted. In this portal, we are clicking on the Expense menu, selecting the Approval option and choosing the Manager's Approval tab. Here, we can see the employee expense request. We need to click on the Details button under the Action tab to view the details of the expense request. Once the section is open, we can see employee request details where we can recheck the amount and put any remarks on it. We should also enter the manager's note as well, and click on the Save button to save it. Here, we are approving 800 rupees for the first expense out of the rupees 1000 requested by the employee and entering the remarks that they are not eligible for the same. This provides added transparency to the expense process. Once we are satisfied with the approvals, we can save it by clicking on the Save button. The transaction will move to the authorized finance manager's profile. Let us switch over to the finance manager's ESS portal to observe how they can approve the expenses. After logging into the finance portal, we need to click on the expense menu, choose the finance approval option, and select the finance approval tab. Here, we can view the expense reports and the expenses that are already approved by the manager. We need to click on the details under the action tab to open the form, from where we can enter the finance amount and put the relevant remarks. Once we are satisfied, we need to click on the Accept Expense button to save it. We also have the option to view reports in Pocket HRMS. For that, we need to click on the Expense menu, click on the Finance Report option, and select the Finance Report tab. We have some reports ready here. So, we can click on the Download button to download the reports. As we have observed, Pocket HRMS has an advanced expense management system that provides transparent management of employee expenses. With this system, employees can easily claim expenses, while their managers can approve them quickly. It also allows the finance manager to easily analyze and generate in-depth reports for maintaining your budget. To know more about Pocket HRMS Smart features, please feel free to contact us.